another $6,000 with co-insurance after the repricing, and then the daughter is going to get the repricing as well. But we figured that out with $1,200 times 12 months plus the out-of-pocket is around $26,000. Let's look at an alternative. Now this is a healthy family, the same thing. Two kids, small business owner. They're going to pay $800 a month with no increases guaranteed for 36 months. There are no deductibles. They don't have to come out of pocket first. It's first dollar coverage. The mother tears the ACL, and that's 6 weeks recovery. Everything all in, it's about 10 grand. Again, I've seen a lot of those in my time. Any accident, any injury, the most that she's going to pay for that is $500. That's her copay, let's call it that. The father has a huge infarct. Cornea bypass, is in the ICU for 4 days, total of 7 days in the hospital at a cost of $85,000. And again, I have actual explanation of benefits to back this up. So the annual out-of-pocket, that includes the premium, based upon any accident, any injury, which is predictable benefits. Based upon predictable premiums, they're going to come out of pocket about $10,000 and save $15,900. $16,000 less than an ACA plan, which is around $1,300 a month, which could go for a lot of different things. So the next plan is do something. I mean, this is where we're, like I said, we're doing this, and this is on YouTube, and we're talking to people that are in Virginia, we're talking to people in Michigan, we're talking to people all over the United States, because the goal of these workshops is that we would be able to pull in those strategic partners, like Larry Williams, like Bob Franke, like Brett Fuller, that have clients that need our help, that need the information that is going to allow them to make the right decision. John Kennedy said that if, and I love this, if it's not us that you're going to talk to, the experts, who then? And if it's not now, when is that going to happen? When would be the right time? Next steps are the three options again. Number one, do we want to go to Las Vegas and hang out there? Get an ACA plan during open enrollment, or if a special exception, you can get an ACA plan, and we can talk about what those exceptions are, or you can get coverage now with an alternative. But take advantage of the experts in the room. Ask them the questions, and this is the time that I want to take to answer any questions that you might have regarding anything that I said. So first of all, I'd love to get your feedback on, this is the second one that we've done. As far as time, that was about 40 minutes, a little less. Does anybody, yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Your presentation, Eric, is, if I'm not mistaken, is directed at not only business owners, but, correct me if I'm wrong, but also individuals who don't have insurance and they need to know what their options are. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Words, my wife works at a bank, and I'm lucky enough to get our family's health insurance through her bank. So I wouldn't necessarily be looking for myself personally to these options because we get it through the bank. Is that right?
That's right.
Very basic question, but
no, it's an excellent question. So we can help people, and this is, I'm considered a connector. People say, what is it that you do, Mr. Ross? I connect. I'm a connector. I connect the dots, but I also connect people. The reason Bill Drum is here is because he's a very talented lawyer, and one of the things that he does is he helps people that are in discord or disharmony with their marriage, whether they're going to dissolve the marriage or what have you. Now, someone like Mr. Drum here, Bill, is encountering people all the time that are going to be without health coverage.
Right.
So they need to be able to have a safe haven where they can come and know that Brian or Scott Lazara or whomever that's an ACA person is there to help them.
which is great because I don't know anything about insurance.
And you don't need to. It's just like I asked the question, I said, do you understand in a car, the combustible engine, how the flywheel turns the crank, which then, pushes the pistons of the tire? Do you understand that? Can you explain it? And I go, no. And I go, but you drove here. And they're like, yeah. You can get the benefit of it without knowing the intricacies. That's why I hire someone like William Drum. That's why I hire someone like Bob Franke, because life insurance, I know life insurance, but health insurance is my core competency, and I want to be able to have someone that understands it better and lean on them just the same way that I do with Larry. Bob?
One thing Bill could use is an accident plan that would, give him cash right up front for, even if he's got a major medical.
Sure.
The accident plan would be good. These are kind of like a little additives, but doesn't take much for $30, $40 a month.
And that's a great point, and that goes back to our point of there are gaps in anything. So if we're mitigating that risk by filling in those gaps with ancillary accident plans, ancillary critical illness, things of that nature, accidental death and dismemberment. So not only are you covering the inside, and this is something I came up with, we're covering both sides of the hospital wall. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, do the bills stop coming in when we get hurt or injured? Absolutely not. So outside the hospital wall is the fact that the mortgage is due, that we need to put food on the table, gas in the car, and pay our insurances, pay whatever. And if I'm injured and I don't have anything to subsidize that, we could get in trouble really quick. Did you know that most people don't even have 2 weeks of savings? If they make, say, $4,000 a month, they don't even have an extra $2,000 in the bank, and that's habit, and that's another discussion, but that is something that is necessary. Yes, Bob?
Disability income is exactly what you were talking about, whether it's short-term or long-term, for those people who don't have a job plan that will give them income, which is taxable. If they own their own, it's non-taxable. So there's a whole bunch of, like you said, areas here that are
well, and again, if we live in the 21st century, we need to make sure that we're covering all of those bases. Thank you for those. Do you have anybody have anything else? They have a question or concern?
Well, I appreciate being able to have someone like you, Eric, and then the professionals in this room that I haven't met yet, or that I've met briefly, to be able to refer clients to, because if my wife and I were to go through a divorce, then I would need to come see you because her health insurance would no longer cover me.
It would.
Through the bank, so I'd have to find an alternative.
Yep, and that's there's other people, estate planning attorneys. So if you know estate planning attorneys, what a great partner to have for us. Property and casualty owners, so non-franchise property and casualty owners like Mainstream Insurance. Katie, who is here in Bradenton, she couldn't make it today, but what an amazing way for her to be an asset to her clients. She has a book of business of 2,000 people. So I'm not talking to one person, Katie. I'm not talking to one person, Bob, one person, Bill. I'm talking to their entire book. And that's the whole point of strategic partnerships. Larry and I are forming something here that is not only going to help so many people, but because the purpose is noble, we're going to create it that much quicker. And we want you to, talk to Larry Williams. This is a great guy to know. He really is. So anybody have, John, does that make sense? Did you like the flow of that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Dee, did you have any questions about what we said? Brian, coming from an ACA person, and Lori, are you comfortable with how that? Because this is the whole point. I want to be able to, in the future, going up to Valentine's Day, which is, like I said, that's the penultimate day that ends open enrollment. And once February 15th goes away, I want to view me as like the CPA or tax preparer, the Liberty Tax, the Hewitt Jackson, the H&R Block. Those guys from December 31st or January 1st until April 15th, don't they work like 22-hour days? And that's what I'm finding people that want to link arms with us and be able to go out there in 5 counties. This is the goal by November, to be doing this.